And a howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. We got the Radical Wasteland back today.
That's right, Greg the Ghoul here with my human companion Harris, and we are back in the Wasteland. We are actually literally in the Wasteland today, or the inspiration for the Wasteland. We have a very special episode today. We are interviewing Old Man Liver himself, Stephen, the owner of the Pioneer Saloon in Goodsprings, Nevada, and he has some special guests with him. We have Larry, the owner of one of his best friends and the owner of K Ghost Radio, the local radio station out there, and Radio. Lee, who works at the Pioneer Saloon. And Lee, you met Harris and I at the Faction Games back in March, and we got to hang out, and you had all kinds of fascinating stories about the saloon, the area, the whole place. So we're just going to sit and chat for a while today. I've got a bunch of questions we're going to ask, and then we'll see what the chat wants to know, too. But thank you all so much for joining us today. So excited to have you here in the Wasteland with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So I want to jump right in. Stephen, how did you come across the saloon? What's the story behind how you came to
Larry and I get.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To get a hold of this crazy saloon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's somehow in 2021 I acquired the saloon. Some say in a poker game, which I cannot confirm or deny. I will only say that there were some shots to be had as to lock in the transaction, but it was one of those things where I'm not a big fate guy, but for some reason I just felt like it was meant to be for me. It was one of these things I kept waking up at night. I would be just like, I've got to have the Pioneer Saloon. I don't know why. I was dreaming about it. It was keeping me up. It was on my mind all the time. And then miraculously, all the other offers fell through, and it came to me, and everything worked out magically. So, like I said, not a big fate guy, but I do, in this particular case, cannot find any other explanation as to why it's my saloon at this point.
It was meant to be.
Thanks, Larry.
It really was. Yeah. We're so happy.
Well, Larry's very nice. Larry and I are neighbors here in Goodsprings, so he has to say nice things about me. But,
that's fair.
Yeah, there's still a chicken from you.
Yeah. So, where are you from? Goodsprings originally, or are you just new to the like where are you from? Like, what's the story? Like, what's the background?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Louisiana, and so I worked my way out west, first to Los Angeles for 20 years, and then moved to Vegas about 12 years ago, and discovered the Pioneer Saloon about 10 years ago, and fell in love with it just like everybody else does. But then when I acquired the saloon, then I fell in love with the town and everyone in the town, like all these crazy folks. And so then I had to get a house here. And so now, I kind of jump around between spots, but I love it when I can stay out here because my house, frankly, is within 4 minutes stumbling distance of the saloon.
We could crawl there.
Which, yeah, and we have. We can crawl there, and we do sometimes when we partake a little bit too much in our local pubbery.
And the spirits.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I love stumbling distance.
Yeah,
that's not right.
Accurate. Yeah,
it comes in handy. I will say that. Yeah. So, but I love Goodsprings, and I don't see myself based anywhere else for the rest of my life at this point than this area. Vegas and Goodsprings are beautiful. The desert, if you get the beauty of the desert, it's something magical out here. And I love the ocean vibe and everything too, but I love the desert vibe. And there's the animals that are out here, including the residents. I include,
there are a couple animals.
Yeah, it's a unique town full of characters, which you can imagine out here in the middle of nowhere is what you're going to find. There's only 200 people in Goodsprings, which is down from 800 in our max. So it's like in the early 1900s, Vegas and Goodsprings were about the same size, around 800 people. Well, Vegas, the whole valley is about 3 million now, and Goodsprings went from 800 to 200. So that's the different trajectories of the town. But back in the day, you would come to Goodsprings if you wanted the luxury shopping, because we had the nicer clothing stores, we had the fancier hotel with indoor plumbing and electricity. We had the nice confectionery store. So, and if you actually walk down our main street in town, you can see some of the remnants of the old buildings. Unfortunately, the Goodsprings General Store and the Pioneer Saloon are the only actual businesses that have survived the last 100 years or so with weather and fire and all that good stuff. But
Wow.
but it's a neat town, neat people, unique environment, and so I fell in love with it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And just to get to know your friends here a little bit more, Larry, what's your story? You own the radio. You own the radio station out there, K Ghost.
Yeah. Excuse me. I started out as a pirate radio in an old school bus, and
wow.
the station in the back, in my bedroom, and my just like an RV. But in back of the school bus was the radio station, and I was running like 1,000 watts type of thing, pirate, back in the day. But now we're legal. I have a house here and got a little radio station, and which is called K Ghost. And now we're part 15. We're covering the town. Plus we're on the internet, all the world. K Ghost Radio, UFO talk radio, and having fun with it, man. I'll tell you, for 25 years I've been doing this in the radio part of it. So, but I was in show business. Believe it or not, did the Elvis shows back in the day, and
he's great at it too.
And I do 150 voices. And so I'm right in my pocket. I'm retired, more or less. Well, what's retired?
Kind of.
Yeah, but having fun. And this town is it's just the best town ever. And I'm not going to go anywhere, but probably that cemetery over there. Oh yeah. But and the fun thing is that there's lots going on here at the Pioneer with this fallout stuff and everything going on. I'll tell you, and it just really has things have changed a bit. Growth is growth. But I'll tell you, this is a fantastic place. It really is, the Pioneer. And I do advertise you, don't I?
Oh, you sure do. He's a trooper.
That with the honey. But it's about having fun in life. And that's what it's all about.
That's fantastic.
Love radio. Just love it.
That's awesome. So K Ghost Radio. So you said you were doing UFO talk radio.
Yeah, I'm doing talk radio on Wednesday nights. It's like an Art Bell type of show, like Art Bell, the voice of Art Bell. But it's not the voice, it's my voice. He's gone, passed away. But we talk about ghosts, UFO, phenomena, you name it. And we have some kind of crazies call in, but it makes the show. You know what I'm saying? I let them just tell their story. I don't judge them.
Those are my favorite episodes when you got a really crazy one on. But talking about aliens and ghosts is perfect for out here. That's Goodsprings out the wazoo.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This place is haunted.
Well, and I can see why Obsidian Games really kind of locked into the community, because there's the Lovecraftian elements of Fallout, there's the UFO sci-fi elements of Fallout, and it all just kind of like, if the region's already got that kind of lore going for it, it really fits in real well. So that's fantastic. It's just great to see that it was already like baked in. That's so cool. Awesome. Lee, I want to get you in here as well real quick. Lee, now when we met you, we hung out, we had dinner, we all, like you, me, and Harris, we all chilled out, and you are just a fascinating individual as well. You are just like an honest to God, like world traveler, and just kind of like, yeah. Tell us about yourself. Oh, did we lose you? There we go. Oh, can you hear us still?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Lee, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Where you been? What you doing?
Yeah. Well, I basically have been a wastelander my whole life. I've been wandering, kind of like a modern day hobo. Every 6 to 9 months, I do a lot of seasonal work. So I've been all over Asia, Europe, Australia, and the States. And I had finished a job in Wyoming back in February. And so being sick of like the 13 months of winter that Wyoming has, I decided to come south and do a Fallout road trip. So I was doing the courier route. And when I got to Goodsprings, I sat down at the bar. I'm just like, it's so unreal to be here, and just how accurate everything is, how it was so surreal. And I was sitting at the bar and I was talking to Tony and Nancy, and they mentioned that, well, I like half jokingly was like, oh my God, I wish I could work here. And they're like, well, actually, we're hiring. And I was like, oh, wait, hold up. What? So I applied then and there. And the next day I was originally going to continue my route, but I just camped out. There's BLM everywhere. So I just camped out and came back and interviewed the next day. And then I continued on my route to try and find Benny and shoot him back and get my platinum tip back. And about a week later, I got the call and they said, come on back. And I was like, hell yeah. So I came here and didn't have a place yet. So I ended up camping for 2 months. And I just moved into the city a couple weeks ago.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. Did you ever get to make it out to LA and see the Fallout season 2 shooting location?
I did. Yes. Yeah? It was amazing. It was so good. I saw the entrance to Freeside and the Lucky 38, and it is just like so well designed, so detailed. It's perfect. I have every confidence in them that this next season is going to be fucking sick.
That's awesome.
We've been kind of worried just a little bit.
No,
it looks like, well, excitedly worried, but it looks like Caesar's Legion may have taken over the strip. Are you excited for that, or does that give you a little trepidation?
Well, I mean, I don't fuck with the Legion. Like, we're cool. They can just don't crucify me and we're fine. Anytime I get Legionnaires coming into the store for milkshakes, I'm very polite and respectful, but when the NCR come through, they can just turn around and get the fuck out because I ain't about taxes.
I love that. They and let me tell you, having had the milkshakes out there, they are outstanding. Like everybody in the chat, the milkshakes are outstanding. Having had them myself sometimes, so really, really good stuff.
Yeah, for chat, get the Andes mint one. It was delicious.
Yeah, I had the Reese's.
Oh, fantastic! Yes,
milkshake, and they were amazing. So, so this is a little bit more.
And I've got a great quantum shake now, and that's my favorite.
Oh yeah, very tasty. It's like he makes these works of art out of these shakes and malts that people are just drool over them, and then it's fantastic because they can be for kids. Or we can throw a little alcohol in them, so they're a little adult-oriented, and that's usually when I partake. But the problem is sometimes they'll hand me, because they're such works of art, that if I just walk around with them, people will order them. But the problem is when I start drinking it, and at my age, I don't need that extra 3,000 calories. So I'm like, for God's sakes, quit handing me these shakes because they're good. And then 3,000 calories later, I got to go run home from here, so I jog it off. But Lee does an amazing job, and she greets everyone with a happy smile every day, and she's just a perfect addition to the team out here. And the Wasteland, and like she said, it's uncanny how much Goodsprings really is represented properly in the game. And even I didn't play the game until after I acquired the Pioneer Saloon. And so it was a different order for me, but it was fascinating because already having lived here, I'm like, it freaking represents life out here pretty well. Like we deal with, we got factions on a regular basis. They may be, in the form of motorcycle clubs or something else, but it's, we have our issues. We're a bar, and then we've got, there's scorpions out here. They may not be rad scorpion sized, but they're scorpions and tarantulas and snakes.
But the tarantula hawks.
Yeah, tarantula hawks, which are huge
and
gross.
Realize those were real. I thought I thought, okay, of course they're going to put giant wasps in a game with radioactive animals, of course. And then once I moved out here, they told me about tarantula hawks, and I was like, oh, of course it's real. Of course cazadors are real. This is great. What am I doing here?
Yeah, it's like your
hammer hitting you.
The Mojave Desert's kind of like the Australia of America because everything's built out there to kill you, So yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's why when we have campers out here, I have to remind them, because people love, hey, I want to stay out on BLM land like the Wasteland. I'm like, well, you really do have rattlesnakes, just so you know. And
Mojave greens are terrible.
Oh yeah, and then another weird, funny thing is they have these rabbits out here that I forgot what they're called, but they're huge rabbits with long ears and long tails like a dog. And the first time I saw one, I literally thought, I was like, did I just see a freaking alien? Because it like popped out and peeked out at me in the bushes at night. And I was like, I've never seen a rabbit the size of a medium-sized dog, much less with long ears and a long tail. We had to look it up because we're like, I know, seriously, like this the nuclear test sites were out here at one point, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder.
So there could be something to it.
We start talking to you.
Oh yeah. Well, that's after you're doing acid all day. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, a couple drinks.
So jackalopes are real.
Aliens.
So let me ask you. Harris and I came out for faction games, and I had actually hadn't been out to Goodsprings. Well, I'd driven through at one point and got my picture at the sign, and then I heard about faction games, and we decided to come back out and shoot, come out and shoot some video and pictures and partake. And I've seen it when there's an event going on, but what's life like out there? Like, what's a typical weekday out there? It seems really very quiet, very chill. I'm kind of interested to know what it's like just being there all week.
Yeah, I mean, really, like right now in the morning, it's beautiful. The birds are chirping. You can hear the animal sounds in the background. It's gorgeous, and it's pretty low key. It starts to build up when we have live music starting at noon. So on a busy weekend, especially, it can get really crowded just from the amount of people that want to come out and experience the live bands and that kind of thing. It's to some people, the Pioneer Saloon is a biker bar. Some people, it's a live entertainment venue. Some people, it's a historical landmark, and they love the history. Others love the ghost vibe and the haunted vibe. And then, of course, the gamers love the Fallout stuff. So we have a lot of different niche audiences that we have to cater to. And but the weekends are when we're busiest. Yeah, we have private parties, we do weddings, we do corporate events, you name it. So it can be hit or miss of how busy we get, but usually on weekends, the Pioneer Saloon can, triple, quadruple the size of the town at any given time on a weekday. So
that's a good weekend. That's a good day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all find, I guess, maybe some Las Vegas residents kind of saying, well, we don't necessarily want to deal with the craziness in town, maybe find a way outside just a little bit?
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing. So the Fallout community is so respectful and mannerly that the town has actually supported this event as opposed to come out against it, which is fantastic and just goes to show how respectful the community is. Because I'm talking like people will self-organize volunteer groups to clean up trash, where 2 days after the event, you would never know that thousands of people were out here.
Very well behaved.
Very well behaved. Super manner. They show up early. They go, what can I do? How can I help? Can I move tables? Pick up trash? Anything we can do. And because of that, the town is generally supportive. Not everyone has any small businesses to promote or anything, but the school teachers get into it now because the elementary school is in the game, of course. And now they're all fired up about it. The librarian gets into it. It's the Goodsprings Historical Society, which, I'm probably, I'm old man liver, and I'm probably the youngest guy in the Historical Society, if that tells you anything. So to have that older retired crowd supporting this, 20-somethings and 30-somethings gaming niche is an achievement in its own right. And they love hearing about it. They want to bring more Fallout fans to town. And so the way it's been handled, because it just organizes this event, we have to take everything into account. We have to go, okay, the fans have to have a great time. We can't kill the employees. Yeah, we got transportation, so we don't want to upset. We can't overload the town with thousands of cars. We want to make the residents happy as well. So it's a logistical challenge that we're just trying to find the balance of making everyone happy. And I think in the 3 years we've done it, we've achieved that for the most part.
There's so much cost involved that people don't even realize, these what he goes through. And but the organization of this whole event is unbelievable. I go, well, he's pretty well put together, and I never thought that would happen to you.
Well, thank you.
Really
Yeah,
well
like now our because I have a live events company called Butter Popcorn Entertainment, so it's the one that kind of took over organizing the event because it's beyond the Pioneer Saloon at this point. It's including other spots in the game. Yeah, we want to really let people, if this is someone's one time to come to the United States and they want to hit all the spots in the game, we want to allow them to do that and have tour buses ready to go if they want to hit, other spots. And somebody might have come all 3 years and they're like, oh yeah, I want to do something besides just Pioneer Saloon this time. I'm going to go out to the Hoover Dam. Let's check out the old Mormon Fort and the Atomic Museum, that kind of thing. They'll have the option this time around. So we're expanding. Yeah, just to make it so it's not exactly the same every year and still has a certain amount of spontaneity to it that we had the first year we pulled it off, because that's the spirit. We never want to get too corporate where it's so set up and that there's no surprises anymore. It's because the whole first year was a total surprise. It was one of these things where we picked National Video Game Day, which happened to be in the middle of the summer, and said, oh, maybe we'll invite the Fallout fans, see if everybody wants to get together. Might have like 50, maybe 100 people. And then when 1,000 people showed up, we were like, oh crap, we got to pull this thing off, pull it together. We're doing a cosplay contest. I didn't even know. I had to pick my buddy Ben aside, who I've gotten to be very good friends with, but he happened to be wearing this giant power armor suit. I was like, dude, you look like you've been to a few of these things. Like, what categories do I announce for the cosplay contest? He's like, best in show, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, and I jump on stage, so best in show. We're gonna that's how winged the whole freaking thing was, and people loved it. And then the first time we did the walk through town in Goodsprings, people came out, and it was like the worst weather we had in forever. And it it was foggy, it was rainy, it was yucky, it was cold. And I was trying to do a tour through town with my bullhorn. And I was like, oh man, people are going to be miserable. And afterwards, everyone was like, that was awesome. Like, that was the best. That was just like the Mojave Wasteland. Thank you. That's even better than we expect. I'm like, seriously, this is awesome. Yeah, like the best, and then any other scenario, if there's a line in the general store, as long as it was, that first year, well, and since then, even, people would have been mad and upset and rightfully so. But in this case, they start breaking out in songs, singing, country roads and all this stuff. And I'm like, only this audience would break into song while they have to stand there and wait to get to buy their T-shirts or whatever. So it's been a phenomenal experience. And then the first year we had 1,000 people. The next year we had 3,500. Then the next year it's 6,500. So there's no telling what this coming year will happen. So it just seems to keep growing, and I think it will be, especially with Amazon approving more seasons and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be fantastic. That's got to be like such a big boost now. The franchise is gonna be going strong for a while. So.
Yeah, it's fun, and then people that normally wouldn't know about it understand it. So even if someone has never played the video game now, they can watch the series and kind of know why, before it was all like, why are those people dressed up in blue suits? And
that looks like fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think Larry wanted a blue suit just for his own day-to-day wear before he even knew what it meant. But,
I mean, they are pretty convenient,
Yeah.
So Stephen, you said that you didn't really know the game until after you got to Goodsprings. Lee, you've been a fan of it since beforehand. You knew the game coming into town. Larry, what did you know about Fallout before
Yeah, just a little bit, but now I know a lot more, and it's very enjoyable. God, if I had this when I was a kid, I'd be able to dress up like that and enjoy the game.
Right.
Unbelievable. But it's fun to watch and see everybody get into things, get into character.
And Larry's been a resident of Goodsprings for how many years? 31 years. Yeah. So he was around when they were developing the game, back
when we were filming out here back in the day.
Oh wow. Okay. So you remember when Obsidian was out there building? So
Yep.
what was it like dealing with them when they were there? Did you interact with that team much?
Well, yeah, but they were doing a lot of filming here and there, and they had a plan apparently what they were going to do, and they got a couple of people that had a guy had a dog, and what's Pete and other people,
Easy Pete.
and I just darn it, I didn't get K Ghost Radio in there.
Dude.
Well, the funny thing is
missed it,
that
but
there actually is a pirate radio station in the back of a bus not far from Goodsprings.
That was me. That was my radio station on a school bus.
So he's gone in the game.
Yeah, I guess I'm
You're
there.
immortalized, man.
Wow. It's K Ghost Radio.
Forever.
There you go. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That's a hell of a claim to fame. I love that.
Wow.
Oh, from the chat here, do you think you guys would ever put together a video tour for people who can't ever get out there?
That's one of our UK audience members asking that.
Yeah, we have a lot of folks in the UK who watch the channel here, and David is one of our UK fans asking about that. So if there could ever be like a video tour of the town to share.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and we'd love to do it. We've been talking about it with the Goodsprings Historical Society, and because I even brought up the fact, like now with the virtual reality and augmented reality goggles and all that, we could, for people that come here, have them put on the goggles, and wherever they look, it'll show them the information about that part of town, and then that would also create, we could create videos as we go along and as we tour the town, and then put them online, and people worldwide can experience it virtually. So that's in our plans to get to that, hopefully in the foreseeable future.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that, Goodsprings has huge significance in Fallout, but it also has a long and illustrious history from before the video game. And I know that it's got ties to there was a gunfight, a famous gunfight there over a poker game. There's ghosts. There's it has Hollywood ties with Cary Grant. Like, do you guys want to highlight some of that stuff here?
Yeah. So probably our utmost famous story that's happened here was a 1915 poker game, and there's 3 bullet holes in the wall next to one of our doors that no one really knows where those bullet holes came from, but we know for sure there was a poker game that took place in 1915 where a guy lost his life when he was caught cheating. So this out-of-work miner named Paul Koski had been drinking for 3 days. He did a poker game with 2 other guys. The dealer, Joe Armstrong, saw him slipping a card into his hand, called him out on it. The dude's drunk and belligerent. He's a boxer type, so he's pretty strong dude, and he got up and he got in his face, and then he started to kind of lunge at him. Joe Armstrong pulled out his gun. He held up his hand. He shot him through his hand. Still went after him, and then Joe Armstrong shot him 2 more times, and he fell dead on the floor. Laid there for 10 hours until the coroner could come out from Vegas. It took a while because it was still horse and buggy day. Now the big deal about that is that the guy who shot him actually got off. So it was determined to be a legal killing and self-defense. So back in the day, and it really came down to Joe Armstrong, the dealer, had a better reputation than Koski, and that's what it came down to. And so he got off.
We're buried together next over there.
Yeah, they're buried. Yeah, they ended up buried next to each other in the Goodsprings Cemetery. And
wow.
In the irony of it all. But yeah, it even caused problems between the home state of where Joe Armstrong was and state of Nevada for letting him off. And but that was kind of a controversial thing back in the day. But that's so when like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and those type shows come out, they will focus on the Paul Koski killing because it's a confirmed murder. But in fact, there several people have died on this property. And quite honestly, if there's going to be a haunted place, it's going to be the 112-year-old oldest bar in the Las Vegas area out in the middle of the desert. It just
that might do it.
That clock.
Yeah, and we've all heard, have stories. Every server has a story. Larry's worked here at times, and he has stories. He's very connected with the paranormal. So that's a whole side of us. But then, then there's the historical society, side. We are a historical landmark. We have the original Press 10 on our walls and ceiling that you would have seen if you walked in 112 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's neat from that standpoint that, if someone wants to experience history, they can just walk right into it. And then we have people talk about how Carol Lombard's plane went down here behind the saloon in Mount Potosi. And that's another famous story because Clark Gable, her husband, came to town when, along with a rescue group that was trying to see if there were any survivors. Unfortunately, there were not. And most of the crash is still up there because it's very remote. It's hard to get to. We have a couple pieces of the plane on our walls here in the saloon. But people, a lot of the old folks that lived here even back in the day will still talk about Clark Gable coming to town and grieving in his car and that kind of thing. And then they say probably Carol Lombard and Clark Gable probably came to the Pioneer Saloon before all that, as apparently they used to like to explore the rural towns around Las Vegas. So people speculate that they probably came on their own. So that's another side of things. And then the part of the history is Goodsprings was a mining town, and back in the day, that's really what George Fale, the guy who started the Pioneer Saloon, which he was a county commissioner and business guy, and he's like, okay, this town is booming. There's a lot of people moving there when mining is exploding. I want to take advantage of that. So he built the general store, the Pioneer Saloon, and the Hotel Fale, which unfortunately burned down in the 60s. But and then unfortunately he died just a couple of years after from the Spanish flu. And I remind people that Pioneer Saloon is so old, we've now survived 2 global pandemics, plus 2 world wars, plus prohibition and everything else in between. So yeah, you can't stop the Pioneer. It'll be, I could die right here on this podcast, and it's going to keep going.
Out of all the things on the list that you think would have possibly killed the saloon, I thought prohibition might do it in real hard, but that's really impressive. That's persistence right there. That's that desert work ethic,
Far enough out from the police, you're all set.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. So let me ask you, what inspired you to actually put together Fallout Fan Celebration and start the faction games? Like, what was
yeah, so the kicker was that's a great question, because honestly, not knowing about the video game background, I knew all these other I knew all the the story of the bullet holes and all that kind of stuff. I did not know about the history with the video game, and I was an avid gamer back in the day growing up. I was first generation Atari, all that stuff, spending all my time, wasting on the whatever, playing games and all. So I get it. And I'm a Star Wars geek to this day since I was 7 years old. So I get the fanship. So when people started showing up after we took over, I felt bad because all we had was like a little video, like Xbox video game case on the wall, and 1 or 2 items that people had donated. And I felt like I was letting people down, and because I was thinking of myself as a Star Wars fan. I'm like, if I went to where they filmed the Mos Eisley Cantina scene and they didn't even acknowledge it, I'd be kind of disappointed. So that's when we dedicated a wall in the dining room to just to Fallout, and people could donate items there. And then we started to sell more Fallout related merchandise. And then that's when we said, hey, maybe there's an interest in people getting together. And when the annual celebration was such a success, we said, well, there's, other times throughout the year we can have faction games. Doesn't have to be all on one weekend. We can do things that lead up and culminate in the event. And we can air the Amazon series on the wall of the saloon. So like, if you're able to actually, check, watch. And some people, as big of fans as they were of the series, they waited to watch each episode. They waited until we aired it like every other month and watched the whole series that way. It's kind of like we can set up this area of the patio that we're on. We can set up kind of like a drive-in movie, but you just kind of hang out with your blanket and bean bags or whatever, and we give out free popcorn and project it on the wall of the saloon. And that's been an exciting experience, and we'll probably do the same thing for season 2 as well.
That's fantastic. Cool. Dude, all right, Harris, road trip out for the season 2 premiere.
Give me an excuse. I am there.
Yeah.
We have to drive a whole 4 hours. Pull my leg. Oh no.
Yeah, it's not far for you guys. And also, we got a couple, even October 23rd this year, we want to do something for Fallout Day, but then October 19th, we got the day that the video game was released and the 15th anniversary, along with the 112th birthday of the saloon all in one day. So that's going to be a big fun get together in Goodsprings. Yeah, so October 19th will be big. October 23rd will be big. And then, of course, we'll have the 3-day big festival in November. And people had asked why we didn't do the big event in October and instead of November. But October for us is actually a pretty busy month, not only because the weather is really nice, but because of our haunted background. It's Halloween.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we didn't want to do two very busy things all at the same time. And add to the lines and that kind of thing. So that's the reason it kind of went in November. Obviously, July is too hot out here, even though Goodsprings is 10 degrees cooler than Las Vegas because we're at 3,700 foot elevation, which a lot of people don't know that. But so if you want to cool down from Vegas, it's just a 30-minute drive up the hill, and you're in a much cooler environment. But even still, it's hot in July if someone's wearing very layers of power armor and so on.
Be in power armor in July. No, that's nasty.
Yeah. We don't want to kill anybody. In fact, the first year when we did it, we had someone get dehydrated, and we wanted to be safe and called an ambulance, and she refused to get in the ambulance until our friend Monica signed her napkin, because Monica is the person they base the character Trudy off of in the game. She's a local Goodsprings resident. She's very talented. She's a singer. She used to perform with Larry here with his Elvis shows, and then now she has her own band that plays here. In fact, they're playing here in about an hour.
Wow!
And she was kind of known back in the day because she. Not only was she head of the CAC for a while, which is the Citizens Advisory Council, the closest thing Goodsprings has to a mayor. So ironically, life imitating art. She also was known as the singing bartender because she would wear a wireless unit and serve people drinks while she's singing with the band. And so she was very talented. So she was one, along with Gordy, who they based Easy Pete off of, that people can come around the Pioneer Saloon and see these characters in real life. So that's kind of fun.
I love how they didn't just take the town, they took the people and just took it and dropped it. That's fantastic.
That's important.
Yeah, it's really neat. And even Larry and I are on the board of the Goodsprings Historical Society, and even our fearless leader, he never talks about it, but he's a character in the game too, because he's a doctor and would have been about that age of Doc Mitchell in the game when it was being developed. Exactly. And he has the nice house on the hill. So we like to joke about that. He doesn't understand. He's in his 80s at this point and stuff, and but he loves the lure of the game and stuff. But I don't think he really truly understands that he's a character in there.
Oh, that's
an important one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't start the game without him. That's fantastic. And then you rob his house blind because none of this flag is owned by no PC. So yeah, I love it, dude. That is awesome.
Yeah, he's a sneaky.
Yeah. So let me ask. You said that the first time out you had 1,000 people, then it was 3,500, then it was 6,500, and now so obviously this is gone already beyond the wildest dreams. You said that you're talking about having buses and to be able to get to some of the other events. What is going to be the next big thing for the Fallout weekend fan celebration? What is the grand plan at this point? Oh, might be lagging here. Steven, did we lose you? I think my signal might have dropped out.
Can y'all hear us all right?
Oh, I think we lost you.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I can hear it cutting out. Okay, hopefully they come back here.
all right.
Oh, Steven, you still with us? Oh,
Maybe
I think
sort of,
I
kind of.
might have lost video.
So I'm sorry. I think I lost you on that question, but
Oh, it's okay. No worries.
just to in case you can hear me, just to give you more scoop on the event that we do now that it's growing bigger and bigger, we're handling that by incorporating other venues that are in the game into our annual event. So instead of 1 day, it went to 2 days. Now it's 3 days. And so we're spreading out the people a little bit better over a 3-day period so we can accommodate thousands. That way there's not, that many people all at one time. And then if we're using, we also, this year we're having a full day in Sandy Valley Ranch, which is only about 20 minutes from here, but it's kind of fun. It's the closest. If you actually take a picture at Sandy Valley Ranch, it'll tell you you're in Nipton, California, because it's closest to Nipton. There's not much else out there. So that's kind of like our little fill-in for Nipton, although we'll have tour buses actually going out to the actual locations and such, along with Searchlight, Nelson, Old Mormon Fort, the Hoover Dam, those kind of places. So that's kind of our solution to having it grow each year, is just having it more days and then also more venues. So it's not just at the Pioneer. And it's cool because Las Vegas Weekly just came out with an article on us, and we made the cover, but it pointed out all the various spots that are in the game that are actually real places that you can go and visit. So we're trying to incorporate all that into our event, so you can just come in and get it all in if you want. And then this year we're adding stuff like we've got a lot more voiceover actors from the video game. We've got more games because we do caravan games along with bottle cap poker and things like that. Fallout Family Feud. We're going to have more workshops, more panels. We'll have prepper workshops. We'll have 3D printing workshops. We've got an airsoft battle. So if you, after the cosplay contest, when you if you got your costume all pretty and everything, if you want to dirty it up, we'll have factions battling against each other in airsoft battles on a few acres that we have in Sandy Valley. And then this right now the price for the event is $30 up until literally Saturday. May 31st is our last day for that. And the reason we went from 0 to 30 is just to cover the busing transportation everywhere, because I kind of ate that cost myself. And for as you can imagine, 40 hours of ADA compliant buses running 24 hours wasn't cheap. And anyone that knows the margins in the restaurant industry, you would have to sell an infinite amount of burgers to cover that cost. So unfortunately, I've had to remind the community. I'm like, I wish I was Jeff Bezos or had Elon Musk money or whatever, but I don't. Yeah. And so this will at least cover the cost. And I'm kind of like, $30 if you haven't been to the Las Vegas Strip, that's like a drink and a half, or almost
that's
one drink. So I'm
that's
like,
how much it costs to park somewhere.
Yeah, that's parking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, that's parking. And you're getting bussed around for 3 days. So you could literally stay at the Prem Resorts in Prem and be bussed from there to the Pioneer Saloon in Sandy Valley, and all 3 days for just that $30 price, along with the admission and all the activities that come with it. Now there'll be extra stuff that costs extra. If you want to do one of the extended tours, you can decide if you want to pay extra for that and take that out, or if there might be some things if we have something that costs us a lot of money to put on that might be extra. But generally, I tell people you don't have to do any VIP tickets. That $30 ticket will get you 99% of the activities, and certainly everything that we've had in past years plus more. So it wasn't, we didn't put that on there to get greedy. And honestly, we had more support from the community than we had pushback, because people were like, even when we did the survey afterwards, everyone was like, you should charge something for that, or you should, you've got And then, and then they're like, yeah, if you outgrow it, you can always do a convention center, but we feel like convention centers be too corporate and too much of it doesn't have the feel that we've created out here. So we're figuring out other ways to spread people out versus like renting some big spot in the city. Just wouldn't have the same feel, in my opinion. So we take people's feedback seriously, and we go through every response we get after the event, and we go, okay, this is what we did well, this is what we did crappy, how do we fix whatever we didn't do well for next year? And that's how every year will never be perfect, because we keep adding stuff and trying to challenge ourselves, so it's not the exact same event. And that way, if you can come every year and expect something a little different, but hopefully with the same spirit of the previous years. But that's kind of how we're handling all that. We take people's feedback seriously. We knew, even though it's only $30, going from 0 to 30 was a big change. And trust me, it's not a greed jump or anything like that. It's more just making it sustainable for future. And then God forbid, if we do start to turn a profit, we can get bigger names, and those we'd have more money to spend on some talent, because I would love to get the Walt Goggins and the Ella Purnells out here at some point when we can afford them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goggins, Nuka-Cola float. That's all I need in life to be happy right now.
I love that. Well, so hearing like the logistics behind getting the buses and getting the locations lined up, what is it like? What does it take to plan an event at this scale? Like this, I'm a producer myself, so like I have an idea of like putting up festivals and things, and just how crazy that can get.
So that's a great question, and it's one of those things where we started our first meeting for 2025 was before the November 2024 event even happened.
Oh wow!
So we start over a year in advance for each one, and then we have this amazing group of Fallout, dedicated, passionate Fallout fans that we call the committee or the board, and they're kind of the folks that have been with us from the very beginning, the first year, and just donated. A lot of people volunteer and donate their time at the event itself. These guys jumped in and started jumping in the planning and helping with that all year long. And now it's important to have a hierarchy of volunteers, because there's no way we could pull it all off ourselves. Like before, I've always done the itinerary for the event, and I still do the basics of the whole thing. But now we have a whole board, and they have subcommittees and volunteers with each of their divisions to help with the different areas that we need help with. In fact, like Larry's helping handle a lot of the radio station stuff, because we want to have people actually doing signals from different radio stations at different spots. So it's kind of has a feel like it is in the game. We've got help doing our panels, and sweet guy Kenneth Vigu from Fallout for Hope has really been helping put together the voiceover actors that are going to do panels and table talks and those kind of things. And then our friends Ben, Erica, and Alex, and Melody and Emily, all helping out with responses to questions, social media stuff, workshops, general organization, food menus. There's so many, now there's hundreds of people involved throughout the year, and so we're constantly having meetings. And that in fact, this year we're adding a cooking challenge and we've never done that before, but the winner of the cooking challenge gets to put a meal on the Pioneer Saloon menu for a year. So that's wow. Kind of cool. But it's going to be Wasteland style cooking. It's going to be like, hey, this is all the material, kind of like Gordon Ramsay type show, but this is all you get, and this is a barrel for your grill, and we're going to Wasteland style cook, and it's got to be something Fallout themed. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. So we have a sponsor for that, and that's a whole new activity. But it's once again there's so many things that obviously I can't do it all myself. So if I didn't have this group of fantastic volunteers that we call the commission or committee or whatever, and then all the people that respect them, that help out, and everyone does it, including me, does it for free. So it's a passion project, and you'd freak out if you weren't. Just the Pioneer Saloon, it's a 112-year-old fixer-upper, so that alone is a passion project. And then now, of course, now that I played the game and I love it, and I love the series, and so it's fun for me. And then people have created Old Man Liver characters in the context of Fallout, and so like I feel like I'm part of the game myself. And so people joke, they're like, oh yeah, when they come to film out there, they'll probably ask you to be in the game. And occasionally I'm in the Old Man Liver is a bartender in the recent Matt Rife movie that we did that came out and stuff. So I sneak myself in there from time to time. So you never know how that might work out.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of which, have you heard anything from Bethesda or Obsidian about any of this? Have they reached out at all to either like support or just inquire about what's going on?
Oh yeah. Bethesda is super. I know they have a mixed reputation among the community, but the group we work with behind the scenes is very supportive, and they don't ever want it to become a corporate event. They'd rather it be an Old Man Liver event, which I appreciate, and the fans seem to appreciate. And they, even when given the opportunity, they've declined to get too involved because they know it's an organic fan-based event, and they don't want to ever ruin that. And that's kind of why it's at the status that it's at. So and it's funny, every year someone comes around, we hear Bethesda's taken over the event, and I'm like, you're looking at a Fallout burlesque show right now. Do you think Microsoft's legal team would approve that? Like, I don't think so. Like, they're not coming in.
Dude, that's awesome, and that's so cool. They give you they give you the blessing, but also keep it real. Like that is fantastic. I think that's incredibly important and a great way to help.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a whole new respect for. They do it right. I've joked about like if I did a May the 4th event here at Pioneer Saloon, I'd probably have Lucasfilm and Disney on me like in a second. But Fallout, they understand it's a win-win-win. Everybody, the fans win, we win, they win. It's a great promotional thing. So they even last year they announced the event on the Fallout Day on their Twitch airing. And it was kind of funny. Yeah, it was nice of them to do that. And they had their marketing person dressed up as a ghoul, and they put a lot of effort into it. And so they're probably going to do that again this year, give us a little hype at the last minute in October. And that always last year it added, and we were actually trying to cut people off last year because it was a free event, but we tried to get people to RSVP, and that was tough because
it's like if you start running out of stuff, it's not like you got to finally like down the road. You got to plan it.
Exactly. So we really need a count of how many people that are going to come, because we're like, okay, if it's free, there's going to be a portion that say they were coming and then can't make it, but then there's also going to be a portion that just show up that we're not expecting. And so we tried to kind of cut it off and go, okay, we've got, 5,000 people RSVPing. That's probably enough. We don't want to, be a safety thing. And then Microsoft goes out and announces, hey, and if you can make it to Goodsprings next month, it's the unofficial Fallout fan celebration. And we're like, oh my God, like that just hit. So we had 2,000 more people show up after that, or 2,500 more. And luckily it all worked out because it was spread out, like I said, over a 40-hour period. And 2 locations, and then this year will be even more spread out, so we're going to be fine. But and that's the other good thing about even just charging a nominal amount like $30 is at least you have a better count of how many people are actually going to show up, and exactly how much food to get it, or at least a better idea of how much food and drinks and what to expect and how to handle the lines and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be better organized this year just from charging the $30 and knowing how many people are going to show up.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, we know that they just wrapped season 2, that they were shooting in New Vegas. They shot a lot of it in North Hollywood here, actually about 5 minutes from where I live. But we also know that they were shooting out in Nipton and out in some of the other locations between here and Las Vegas proper. Did they swing by Goodsprings Saloon? Did they shoot anything there? Can you share anything about that?
Yeah, and I'll say there's not been no shooting yet, and it'll be a good day when you ask me that question. I tell you I can't respond one way or another.
All right. Yeah, that will
the vibe, honestly, that I get is that they're talking about it, but they're looking at this as a multi-year series. So they,
Nice.
and this is just my guess, is they don't want to throw all their Easter eggs out in seasons 1 and 2.
Fair.
So total speculation on my part, but and just the fact that they already greenlit season 3 before season 2 even came out, to me that means they're looking at 5 or 6 seasons, and they're 2 years apart. We got about 10 more years of this to go. So I would be surprised if at some point that didn't occur, but it hasn't happened yet, and I probably won't be able to say anything once it does.
No worries.
That'll be a good thing. Yeah.
The saying is you're speaking to the choir, but you're speculating with the choir right now, because this is literally what we were talking about last week on the podcast. We were trying to figure out, do you think they're going to stay there for longer, or do you think they're going to go travel up West Coast or inward to east somewhere, something like that?
Yeah.
But I was thinking they got to stay in Vegas.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah, and I can.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's see. If anybody in the chat has got questions, I think we're going to start wrapping it up here.
We did have David ask another question earlier, and you did mention Walton Goggins and Ella Purnell. So who would be your dream guest from the Fallout world to visit? We already, I guess, got the answers for the show. Do you have like a voice actor or some like specific character that you would like to see come say howdy at the Pioneer one day?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's those 2 characters from the Amazon series for sure. And then we're lining up a crew. About every top voice actor that's out there making the rounds is coming to this November's event. So we'll have more than ever. And ideally, I'm trying to get a table reading put together where we can have a few of the voice actors all at once enacting a scene from the game and such. So we're putting that together now.
That'll be awesome.
Fantastic. Lee, who would be your ideal guest to swing by town?
Oh, well, I mean, like I said, I would love to serve Walter Goggins a Nuka-Cola float, but man, I would also love to give the dog a pup cup.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I could spend all day with dog meat.
Absolutely. All right. And where can we hear K Ghost online? I think I posted the correct link here.
Just go to K Ghost, that's KGHOST, KGhostradio.com. And then there's other stations on there, but it's the same music. It's the mothership for all those different stations. And if you want to go to YouTube, go to K Ghost, L-A-R-Y, Larry, and you'll see it up there. And there's many of shots of the shows.
Awesome. And Larry, do you have any guests that you would love to see come out to Springs to a fan event? Anybody in particular you'd love to meet?
I just want to see them all. I love it.
That's awesome.
Guys, everybody.
Thank you guys so much for your time today. I know that it's a busy time. You said you got a band starting to play up in about an hour. We appreciate you taking the time, jumping online with us and chatting with us here in the Wasteland. Stephen, where's the best place for people to follow the Spoon online?
So just head to falloutfancelebration.com, and you can get all the the social media links and keep an eye on things, and we'll be making announcements daily and weekly in the next few months. So whoever with exciting news, you can jump on our Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and then it's all at falloutfancelebration.com.
That's awesome. Guys, thank you all so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you all. I hope that we'll be able to see you the next time we're in Goodsprings. I want to come out to more of these events and cover them, and we'll let you know when we're coming out. Maybe we'll grab a bite. Maybe we'll do another interview and see what else we got.
Yeah, we'd love to talk with y'all.
We'll take you a tour of the station, and yeah, sounds good. I'll buy you some beer, some Old Man Liver beers, and drink some Old Man Liver whiskey while we're at it.
Beat that.
I think that sounds like a great time. We're looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank y'all. And I plan on winning that food contest already. Y'all giving me a thing to venture for.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, take care.